Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back onto the field for the second half, Italy.
The first match of a triple header on Super Sunday to round off what has been an eventful under-20 Six Nations. Scotland are just returning to the pitch where they have managed to bag themselves a 5-point advantage over the Azzurrini. Scotland sitting 5th in the standings, Italy 4th and chasing hard on England, breathing down the necks of the Red Rose. But also breathing down the necks of the Italians now is a pretty gusty breeze. They were playing into it in the opening 40, but it will help them considerably in this second half. And as we know, this is an Italian side who close pretty hard. Simone Brisighella will get us back underway. Italy playing from left to right in blue. Scotland from right to left. I'm alongside Rory Lawson, and we've been admiring some of the haircuts on display. There are some fine mullets out there this afternoon, Rory, but we've also been talking, perhaps slightly more productively, about what we think the messages might have been at half-time.
Yeah, I don't think either coach in the dressing rooms would have been happy. Kenny Murray, I think he would have thought that Scotland could have ended up with more points on the scoreboard at half-time, and Massimo Brunello, I actually think that he will view that as Italy's poorest 40 minutes of the championship so far, so he'll be desperate for the Azzurrini to start this second half as they mean to go on. But both coaches will have been desperate to make those 10 or 15 minutes in the dressing room at half-time count, because this is a huge 40 minutes for both sides.
Italy who reclaim that ball over the top, and Gallerini writhing through a sea of pink jerseys. He's got 3 tries and counting this championship. David Odiasi, who has the ball now, has yet to score, but he's contributed in absolutely every other metric. Passarella, the outside centre, stabs it through. Doesn't look overly pleased with that one.
We were talking at half-time, Claire, and just summarising, and we barely mentioned an Italian player other than Francois Carlo May, the fullback, in the entire Italian backline during that first half. Such was the nature of it. Italy's pack, whenever they had the ball, they seemed to be exiting or driving mauls or skew throws in the line out, whatever it may be, but their superpower was the scrum in the first half. For them in the second half, it's all about trying to become more accurate, and they have the wind at their backs. They know now that they should have more freedom to play. For Scotland, it's a case of trying to manage this wind and how they play into the wind, but they've got to get the nuts and bolts right.
Well, it's scrappy, but it is reclaimed by the Scots, that line out. Just to update you, Lorenzo Alletri wearing 23 is on for the Azzurrini, the 18-year-old. Getting himself in on the action. He's replacing Nicola Bozzo, the Perpignan inside centre. And it looks as though that is where he's situated himself, in the midfield, because both Bozzoni and Alessandro Jasi, who has the ball now, remained on the park.
Number 6.
It was a cagey opening 40, wasn't it, Rory? And it looks as though that's the manner in which things will resume.
Yeah, it's a common theme as well. That penalty, I think we saw 2 or 3 times in the first half. Tackle not rolling away. This time it was Scotland's captain, Liam McConnell, on the kick chase, made the tackle, but just not getting out of the tackle quickly enough. You see Jay-Z here, little right-footed step. McConnell makes the tackle. He's got to just fight to get away from Jay-Z and allow his jackler to be able to get rights to the ball. As it is, we discussed it in the first half, the jackler has no rights until the tackler gets out of the way.
It's a deft one-handed claim by Pietro Turrisi, the 6'8" Racing 92 lock. And Italy look for a cookie-cutter score after their opening try. Their only try of the first half came off the back of a driving line out. Gallerini, the hulking tight head, in over that one. And it's Turrisi who goes again. Signed for Wasps last year, but been picked up by Racing 92.
From the side.
And May has the chance to get Italy deep into Scottish territory.
And he didn't get it quite into the corner like he wanted to, but just see Scotland ill-disciplined, just feeling the pressure here, and this is a little bit ominous.
And right as I was about to say, here come the Italians. They cough up a fifth line out. Luckily, they get that one back off the floor. They got away with one there.
Well, I mentioned the nuts and bolts, and Scotland giving away 2 penalties back-to-back, and then there, Italy missed throw. They really struggled during that first half at the line out there. And again, that overthrow, bouncing to Blythe Lafferty, but he just could not hold the ball in the contact, and it gives this dominant Italian scrum the opportunity. Magnificent platform, 5-6 metres inside the Scotland 22, attacking options both way, but I expect they'll try and turn the screw again on the Scottish scrum first.
Set.
It's swiftly out the back, Baturi controlling it at the base, but Ferreira, our referee, tells Patara to use it, and he fizzes it into the hands of Passarella on a direct line. He is a ballistic carrier, and so too is that man! Italy wastes no time in getting the second half off to a flyer. It's Jacopo Baturi, the number 8. Known for his tackling, but getting himself in on the scoring action too. It's a level game.
Yeah, sure is. You look at Baturi here at the base, good footwork to keep the ball in, ball fizzed across the front. Powerful carry into that midfield by Passarella. And Baturi, the first in at scrum half, jacks against the flow of Scotland defenders coming around the corner, and just power, leg drive through 2 or 3 tacklers. Blasts his way over the line. And Italy first to make it count in this second half and have the scoreboard lead.
Well, Brisighella missed his opening effort at the posts, but made no mistake that time around. A much more straightforward kick, but a very important confidence boost for Italy's place kicker.
Yeah, really clever from Baturi. Firstly, to jack against the flow of Italian players round the corner, identifying Scotland had overfolded. They had 4 players went round the corner. There was no one on the near side guard. It became a quick one-on-one against Asher. Oh, that one's a little bit loose. Back to May, but Scotland, let's see how they counter-attack here.
King finding McConnell, and coast to coast the Scots go. It's Geordie Gwynn looking to grubber it through. It's well regathered by Derek, but no, it's not. Italy will have the put in. And speaking of scrums, Rory, you were positing in the first half that the way for Scotland to get an edge here was to let Italy engage, let them drive them backwards and look to draw a penalty that way. But you've actually had a bit of a scrum oracle get in touch at half-time to say, you're a scrum half, get back in your box.
Yeah, Ian the Bear Milne, one of Scotland's great tight head props, has essentially told me that when you're under that sort of pressure in the scrum, what you can't do is try and just hold the scrum and take that pressure. Somehow you've got to be able to attack that dominant scrum, whether that's pushing early. You've just got to ask some questions and change the dialogue with the referee. I'm sure that the Scottish coaches will have had similar words at half-time. Interesting to see Scotland's 2 water carriers today. The Scottish senior men's centurion Ross Ford and Al Strokos. So Ross Ford will have been in thousands of scrums himself, and I'm sure he'll have had words to say to some of these young Scotsmen in that front row as well. You just need to try and inch your way into this.
Set.
JC, brother of Simone, who made his Italian debut at Murrayfield yesterday, lurks to the blind side. Italy have the advantage, but they go to the open side, and Brisighella finds May. Ball in 2 hands. He's so quick, is Carlo Francois May. Puts his foot to the floor, and the chase is on. It's well fielded by Kurt Johnston, but fingertip stuff. Tell you what, Francois Carlo May is absolutely electric.
Well, I'm not sure. It's a brilliant outside break. Francois Carlo May, absolutely incredible. Knowing that they're playing with house chips here, this is a penalty advantage. Here he goes. He's got 2 defenders in front of him. just stands up Kerr Johnson and says, right, I'm going to have a go. Now I'm just interested to see. I thought it definitely came off an Italian there to go over the line. It's gone against Scotland for carrying over. Johnson did really well to recover after the chip kick. Look at this effort, he's just on the inside here. Keeps running back, he goes down and it can't gather, but I felt on, it didn't, oh, fair play, it did come off Johnson last. So carried over that dead ball line. This Italian scrum has been dominant all afternoon. Now they're 5 metres out.
Set.
The last thing you want is an Italian scrum putting all that pressure on you, just 5 metres out, 3 metres, 2 metres. Surely this will rumble over. It's a blue avalanche. And I think that was Batara who got that down. The plaudits go to the scrum half. And the floodgates have opened in the Scottish sunshine here in Glasgow. Italy have their third.
Oh, they might want to have a little look at this one. Sebastiano Batara. Did he pick it up? It looked to me like the ball had rolled a little bit, so it's all about ball control on the ground here first. TMO David Rose may have a look at this, but great footwork by Boturi initially. I do wonder if there might have been a knock-on in there. I'm maybe doing Batara an injustice here, but no, I'm just not sure if he definitely gathered it first. I think referee Morne Ferreira is comfortable enough with his decision. The pack dominance, he just knew it was coming, Claire, didn't you? Scotland haven't done enough to be able to pose the question. You're almost as well just pushing early to try and win some kind of momentum battle. Instead, Italy forced their way forward. Try came.
Italy have really struggled off the tee this competition, but Bristagella has packed his kicking boots and brought them to Scotstoun. Adds another 2. The Azzarini 9 points to the good, and here's how they did it. All hustle and muscle.
Yeah, what a way to kick off the opening 10 minutes of the second half. 2 tries, both of them converted, and just showing how poor they were first half, and now the difference in the elements. They understand now they can clear their lines and start to squeeze Scotland the way that Scotland did to Italy. The difference is now Italy have really made it count on the scoreboard.
It's well fielded by Simpson, but the tap tackle is pinpoint, and he's brought crashing down to turf. Lovely hands from the captain, McConnell. And here's Ben Salmon, wearing 22. Scragged and shoved into touch.
Here you just need to stay in play. One of those just off the bench, first touch. Ben Salmon really fancying a go. Sees the outside, but it's good defence by Jay-Z. Touchline never misses a tackle, so you knew that he could just guide him down that way and grab a hold of his waistband and get him into touch.
The wind as well, and truly in Italian sails now. Everything is coming good. The line out starting to function. McConnell looking to disrupt there with the charge down. And Scotland have it with plenty of space on that far wing. Johnston bumping off. Scrambling Italian defenders. They're reacting as though they've turned it over, and they have. Here is Batara. Yellow boots and dancing feet, and Burlacey. None of the dancing, but plenty of brute force. Gets the job done just as well. May. JC. Leaving Munn, clutching at fingertips. Lovely inside ball to Batara, who's clattered by Erskine. Fine covering defence from the Bath University students.
Last feet. Fondachova.
King with an almighty thwack of a clearance, only finds Passarella. 10 metres in, and down the blind side the Italians go via the boot of Batara. And territory in the second half has been a very different picture.
Yeah, Batara just put the carrot in front of the donkey, just being able to understand that play rugby in the right areas. Few of his front five gave him a clap for that one, because that was a breathless bit of play. But Italy had the opportunity here. Look at this on the inside. Jay-Z, May manages to free himself up. It's a short pass right on the inside there. Instead, the long pass went to Batara. May gliding alongside. I think he's in. McConnell had done just enough to get himself in the picture and in the eye line of Jay-Z, who chose to throw that long pass on the inside, gave Scotland half a chance. But an opportunity gone for the Azzarini again to add a fourth try to this afternoon.
Sub number 8.
There's Ross Ford in picture. Stuart Hogg joining him as one of the 4 men to hit the century. Donna Kennedy, the only woman in the Scottish setup to be a cap centurion. There's Al Strokosh, the strength conditioning coach as well.
There's a brief game of volleyball in the Scottish 22. Ewan Guy is on for the Scots, the Cardiff Met student, formerly a Worcester under-18 athlete. But again, Italy coming up with the goods.
It's one of these, Claire, whereby I know we spoke about the wind in the first half, and I almost started second-guessing myself. Such was the kick of Francois Carlo May and the distance that he managed to generate. But what we've seen, I've got a little crick in my neck on the left side now, because our heads have been turned mainly down into this right-hand side of the field, isn't it? It makes it easier to exit. And don't get me wrong, I've played in plenty of games and watched plenty of games whereby playing into the elements, if you execute accurately, you can really cause the opposition problems, as you always can. But if you don't, you just leave yourself so vulnerable to conceding points, because field position and territory becomes that much more straightforward for the team with the wind at their backs. Scotland have learned that the hard way so far in this half, and are going to have to do something to change the dialogue here. Once again, they've got to try and sort this scrum first.
One on his knees.
Well, Kerr Johnston is marking shadows because there's no one on the blind side, and it's trucked up by Boturi, looking for a second score.
That's a double movement.
But it's a double movement, and he thought for all the world he'd bagged himself a second.
Yeah, it was a completed tackle. It goes against the grain. He's got no right. 2 or 3 tacklers not doing the job, but that tackle is completed there by Jordy Gwynn. Desperately getting back. That's a completed tackle, so he's now got to release the ball before getting back up and diving over the line. Didn't do it on this occasion, but it's just one of those. How long can Scotland hold on here?
From this position, things feel pretty inevitable, but Scotland do well to get the first shove before the Azzarini regather themselves and start to ask some awfully tough questions of the host. Quattrini has it, and he's a metre shy now. The ball crashes to ground, but Gallerini is there.
Advantage offside.
Inches out, blades of grass, the difference in Glasgow. And Italy come again, looking for a bonus point score. It's Passarella, held up, driven backwards. Fabulous defence from the Scots, and the crowd at Scotstoun absolutely love it. Right before the post now, options to the left, options to the right. Where will Batara send it? It's Aminu who waits. Aminu who drives, but the referee doesn't see a grounding yet. Here is Gallerini. It's Gallerini. It's glorious. It's a bonus point for the Azzarini. And Italy's resident beaming bowling ball has done it again, a 4th score. What a way to mark Super Sunday.
Oh, there's only so long that you can plug the holes in the dam before the dam eventually bursts. And it just became a game of physics.
Well, it looks like this is going to be checked.
Yeah,
I think they're
we're just clearing potential knock-on at the previous breakdown.
Oh, they're having a look at the potential knock-on at the previous breakdown here. This was excellent defence that got the crowd to their feet in the midfield. And they're going to have a little look here. Batara digging there. They came so close. And here we go. Gallerini, giant of a man. Did he have 2 goes at it though?
Well, a try against France, 1 against England, 1 against Wales.
Yep.
And 1 against Scotland too. We've had it confirmed.
Perfect, thank you.
Gallerini has 4 for the campaign. And Brisighella will line up another straightforward conversion to stretch the gap to 16. And that, Rory, is significant because that will eradicate the points difference between Italy and England. So if England can, if they fail to take a point away in the standings from their clash in Cork this afternoon, Italy will leapfrog them in the standings. 3rd would be their best ever finish in this competition. They'll look to expand that gap now, of course. They'll keep turning the screw, but we could be looking down the barrel of some history here in the under-26 nations.
Well, I think it's certainly an indication that the first 40 minutes was not a fair representation of the quality of this Italian side. When it came to their execution, Scotland were wasteful in that first half. And I spoke about what sort of points wind I thought this might have been. I thought potentially 10, but we've just seen, you know, Italy 21 points in the opening quarter of this second half so far. Really just exerting their dominance, particularly up front.
Well, you wondered how many points it was worth. How about 3 tries in 11 minutes?
Ball's out. Ball's out.
And important now for Scotland not to just fade away. They understand the significance of the score and the impact that the Azzurrini have had in this second half. Even now, you look at that second half possession, 71% possession for Italy, and the vast majority of that has been inside Scotland's half as well, which has been a huge challenge. Scotland mustn't die wondering though. They've got to throw everything they have. Now, they've got to play from everywhere. They've got to put themselves out there and look to create enough to at least ask questions of the defence. Because if they just go conservative now, Italy will continue to build on this score.
They're a side with plenty of heart. They actually drew the 3rd quarter against Ireland, 7 points apiece last week, so they don't give up. And they absolutely, you're right, Rory, they cannot do so today. May, how many times have we said that young man's name? I've got a feeling we'll be saying them quite a bit in the future too. He's got a bright future in a blue jersey, although he's just clutching his ankle there. Looks like cramp, yeah, cramp for the fullback, as he finds himself looped over the top off with that pass. Afshar peeps over the top of the breakdown and misses touch. An opposing wind, still managing to catch that one.
That would just frustrate him. It's actually a good call. He actually looks up, sees that the winger's gone up ahead. It's Bozzoni. Sees the space over the top, but just overcooks it by 2 or 3 meters. And it's one whereby I think it would have been a 50-22 had he got it absolutely bang on and gone into the 22. But instead, Italy end up with that line out now, just bang on the halfway line as Francois Carlo May gets a little bit more treatment. Unbelievable, 176 meters for that man in picture, covered this afternoon. Nobody else is even beyond 50 meters in the carrying. Certainly for Italy, you've got Jordy Gwynn for Scotland and Dan King at fullback, so I guess that perhaps highlights the amount of kicking and the amount of ammunition that these guys have had to absorb coming their way throughout the afternoon. But Francois Carlo May, he is a classy operator. You mentioned a big future.
Time back on.
There's the comparative meters, carries, tackles made. for each of them.
What's quite interesting is that if he's going to vie for a position in Kieran Crowley's squad, he's got to bump Ange Capozzo, the World Breakthrough Player of the Year, out of that fullback jersey. They're such different fullbacks, but the sort of players that you absolutely pay to see, ones that sell out stadia.
Number 10 offside.
Yeah, it's one of those whereby you just wonder whether you end up having a couple of full-backs play in the back three, you know, one of them wing, one of them full-back. This World Cup may be that little bit too soon for the senior men's Italian team, but you'd imagine in 4 years' time, with some of this talent on field today and some of the young talent within the senior men's squad coming through, that they have a lot to look forward to. We've seen it at under-20s level for a number of years now, Claire, the quality of players coming through this Italian system, and it is there. They are closing the gap, there's no doubt at all. Contrastingly for Scotland, they've really struggled at under-20s level, and they're relying on the players kind of flourishing between the age groups here and the senior men's step-up.
Italy could have a very exciting World Under-20 Championship in South Africa this summer. But what is heartening for Scotland is it looks as though they will shed that unwanted wooden spoon this afternoon. It was a winless 2022, so this season has already been better. But let's turn our attention back to the fine work of Berlesi, crashing up through the centre of the field there. Odiasi is over. Oh, driven backwards. Scotland defending ferociously. And Italy and all of their replacements warming up in the background thought for a moment that Gallerini had leapt like a salmon over the pink bodies in front of him.
Give him space. Give him space. Give him space. Yeah. David, coming to you.
Yes, morning.
But we'll head up to join David Rose, our TMO.
Just make sure the player picking up the ball is on side and on his feet.
Okay, mate. Stand by.
I've got an advantage for number 6 off feet to go back.
I think we're looking for here, I think Gallerini...
So I need to look at the player at the back of the
That's
run.
what we're looking at.
He's the last player. And then I want to check the grounding as well, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, it was interesting. Duncan Munn went straight up to referee Mornay Ferreira and said he's beyond the ball. He's not the last man on the back foot. We'll see here. I thought for a second there Scotland were going to hold up over the line and end up with a 22. Now, here's Gallerini. You can see scrum half number 9 beneath him, Batara. As it is, Gallerini then ends up ducking down, picking up the ball from between his legs,
behind now, mate.
and then driving his way over the top.
So
plunging that ball onto the artificial turf.
Yes.
Whether he's the last player, just going to roll that back a second.
Yeah, so we have to look at whether...
So is Gallerini the last player?
First one, please.
When he's picking it up, because we got a ruck.
Simon, this one here, thank you, mate. Yeah, this one here, Mornay's the best one now, I think.
So we've got a ruck formed there, so both feet need to be behind the ball, which it looks like from this angle.
Yeah, he's got both feet behind the ball. Yeah.
Perfect. Yes. Let me explain this. So a ruck has formed. He's got both feet behind the ball.
Thanks, Simon, that's great.
The last person, so he is on side.
Name's got his hands on the ball.
No, so he is the last person in the breakdown. Both feet behind the ball, he is on side.
Is the name not behind?
Well, the try will stand. How many tight heads finish a Six Nations campaign with 5 tries and counting? Marco Gallerini, a 6'2", 135-kilo salmon leaping over the top of the Scottish defence. The gap grows to 21 with the conversion to come.
Yeah, and there's an important one to look at, but actually the right decision in the end from Mornay Ferreira and David Rose in the truck. Both feet of Gallerini were behind the ball, and he was the last man in that ruck, so he can lean down and pick the ball up from between his legs. He did so, and there was no stopping him. He's celebrating again, back over. You see there, hands on head. Big shift again for Gallerini this afternoon, but a brace of tries to show for it. It's probably apt to refer to them as meat pies when you're talking about 135-kilo tight head prop. You may have a couple of those at Scotland to celebrate afterwards.
You sampled the steak one earlier. They have macaroni on sale as well. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Gallerini raises a pie to himself in the changing rooms afterwards. And what is really significant, Rory, is that that's 5 tries now for Italy, and 4 of them have been converted. That is such a difference to previous rounds.
Yeah, you know, a lot of the tries have been ended up scored very close to the sticks, and Brisigella's done a good job of being able to hit 4 from 5, and you know, it's an extra 8 points on the scoreboard. If you can nail those, it's a totally different story. If it's not, Scotland are still just about in touching distance, albeit 3 scores away. As it is now, you know, they're a long way away from being able to chase down this Italian side.
15 minutes remaining of this one. Don't forget, we've got 2 other under-20s matches coming your way. Ireland against England, France against Wales. So don't you go anywhere.
Went forward.
15 minutes to go for Scotland here. Just really important. Liam McConnell, the skipper, he's just got to be able to get his troops together and say, the opening 20 minutes of this second half has not been a fair representation of the progress that this Scotland squad have made. They have progressed. They beat Wales here, albeit more narrowly than it should have been. They had a really poor performance against Ireland here last time out, but this squad has moved forward. They've not had any of the building blocks that they've needed to be able to string a performance together this afternoon, but they'll be very, very keen to finish and showing something.
Well, there's a big salmon down one end. There's a slightly more slender one up this one. Ben Salmon. And crashing onto that ball was Sam Derrick.
22.
But Italy have got such a stranglehold of this match, turning Scotland over.
Yeah, Ben Salmon, I think he was penalised. I think they might have a little look at this. Oh no, they're just gonna, just with the reaction of, I think it's Alessandro Jesi, and I think it was entry of Ben Salmon.
Just off that scrum play, I don't know if the TM was looking. Our 15, he got tackled off the ball. So he's carried in the boys tackling him. So.
I think it is Alessandro Jesi that's down, getting some treatment from that ruck clear out. It was actually one of Scotland's better attacks in the afternoon, a lovely little offload through the midfield, Sam Derrick managing to burst through. But he got away from his support, and from there he chased it down, and there was a heavy clear out, and now Italy look to bring the changes.
Nicholas Gasparini and Alex Valentino Artuso are on in the front row. So it's ciao for now to Quattrini and to Gallerini, and also coming on is Giovanni Sante. Wearing number 22, he started at fly half in all of the other matches of this competition, the Montpellier playmaker. But Brisighella, his afternoon is done. And Rory, how impressed have you been, by the way, that the 18-year-old has acquitted himself in his first start at fly half?
Yeah, very good. I think, you know, first half we didn't really say his name an awful lot, and the way that Italy, this particular Italian side play, they aren't expansive. The ball doesn't go through the number 10's hands all too often, but he's done everything that's been asked of him. He's, you know, 18 years old to come into this kind of a fold. You know, I expect he'll go to the Junior World Championships with this side. He'll learn an awful lot there, and then come back an even better player for next season and another campaign.
Nicholas Gasparini has arrived onto the field full of beans and perhaps a bit over-eager with his first line-out throw. Sends it right over the top, and Liam McConnell still going strong, carrying like a Trojan with 60 minutes played. The captain really has led for the front this championship. But it's another turnover, a fifth of the afternoon at the breakdown for the Azzurrini.
It's the extra roll after the tackle that's penalised so often now. Sometimes I think it comes naturally with momentum, whereby you can't stop it. You know, the way that the human body is shaped, it's difficult to sometimes stop yourself rolling, but nowadays that roll is totally cut out, and this time it was Max Surrey on the carry, just on the inside shoulder there of Simpson.
14.
Yeah, and he just goes to just wriggle himself away from the jackler. That extra roll penalised, and
we got a jackler over the ball.
Again, real discipline.
I was split round, so I physically flipped in there, so I couldn't really.
Scotland's 15th of the afternoon. They've been a really well-disciplined side across the championship, averaging just 11 a match, but struggling today, and I suspect the difference has been the ones they've coughed up at the scrum.
Guys, time's off.
As Kerr Johnston heads from the field, and Will Robinson of Call the RFC gets in on the action for the final 13 minutes of this campaign.
They are 6. You can get F6. It is 6. It's 6. No, he's coming in. Yeah, 6. Time on. More.
Mattioli rises to claim that one past Sorella. Here is Sante, picks out May, who thinks he spies the gap, but opts to pass it on. And JC tried to dink it back in field, but Scotland really covered the ground there and managed to force him into touch.
Yeah, Jordy Gwynn did well here to be able to cover that outside channel. We saw JC do a job on him earlier on, just using the touchline, but does well to recover. Double effort defensively, covering Dan King's back in that outside channel. Now Scotland, can they clear their lines and try and build something from here? I'd almost just like to see them give it a crack, just keep the ball in hand for 2 or 3 minutes. And Italy have dropped a few players back, so they're only attacking 13 men in that front line defence.
As Corey Tate with the dart there at the line out, started all the other rounds, but wearing 16 today, JC.
Good chase.
Fantastic chase by Ewan Guy. Wrapped up the winger. And Scotland managing to turn that one over, giving Scotland something to cheer about as we approach the final 10 minutes. They have fought for everything, the home side. Simpson has kicked well today. He's a very happy puppet master, the number 10.
Oh, that's excellent. When you do consider they were 5 or 6 metres out from the line out.
Number 5.
This idiot behind the microphone suggesting they should just keep it ball in hand. Instead, they kick and chase really aggressively chase a box kick, managed to turn it over with some excellent counter rucking. And then from there, the game management from Simpson, seeing the space in behind and Grubber. The only difference now is that Italy have the line out, which has functioned a lot better in this second half, albeit starting from a low bar from that first half. But now they do have the wind at their backs and have shown just how much yardage they can make in clearing their lines in this second half. So much of the second half played inside Scotland's final third.
Italy have lost one of their main line-out targets, though. Pietro Torrisi is off, Filippo Lavorenti is on, but it matters not. The drill comes off and they have a free hit here. Bozzoni lurks to the blind side, but
collapsing. Number 5.
Moore was collapsed there. They have the penalty. With the wind at their backs, a chance to head themselves back down to the danger zone, the box office.
Yeah, and all of that effort to get yourself 85 metres upfield, and that's a bad miss though from the Italian clearance.
And a lovely bit of skill from try scorer Dan King. Afshar finds himself with quite the Italian reception committee as he carries back downfield. It's back with King, lovely little ball to Yule, but it's turned over. And Alessandro JC stretching his legs, flirting with the touchline. And places a bright yellow boot on a blade of painted grass.
TMO is looking. Okay. If there's anything clear, we'll deal with it. Time off. Is there anything clear?
Ben Afshar has been having a word with Morne Ferreira. It was his counter-attack and quick footwork. He felt he was hit high. We're down for an injury assessment now. It was back when Scotland were counter-attacking that Ben Afshar suggested that the high shot came in. He certainly went straight to the referee, and as is nowadays, it doesn't sit all that well with me that you're able as a player to protest. But he was sure that he was hit hard and high. As it is, there's the injuries ongoing. I think Morne Ferreira.
Perfect. Time on.
Yeah, now we do have this TMO.
Please put that tackle over there on the screen so we can have a look at it.
We've got head-on-head.
Yep.
So we'll head to the truck
We're looking at the
and get the
potential
thoughts
head
of
contact
David
tackle.
Rose.
On day 99 against you.
Morne, this is live, that's the first one.
So that's it full speed, which is how I think we should see things first.
All right, so
I think it is Filippo Lavarenti,
The side angle, please.
the replacement back rower who's come on. We're just going to see the angle here. Ben Afshar. Now, it's certainly the heads are both at the same height, so now it just becomes, is there a high element of danger and speed?
Yeah.
So the degree of danger is quite high.
Yep, agree.
At the moment, I do not see any mitigation unless that change of direction.
Clear step.
Yeah.
Clear step onto the left foot that changed. That's a significant change in direction for me.
Let's have a look at that.
He clearly steps.
Yeah, so there is a clear step.
Yeah, there is a
change
step
of
to his
direction.
right. Yeah,
Yes.
you're correct.
All right. So those are the best angle that we had to look at there.
Yeah.
All right. So
Simon.
yes, we've got foul play, direct head contact to the player. The tackle is always upright. However, there is a significant change in direction by the ball carrier. Therefore, we use that as mitigation. Is that correct?
Yeah, you've got that right.
Perfect.
And it's number 20.
Yeah. Number 20.
What's that?
I'll explain now.
Okay.
Right. So it is a dangerous tackle, always upright, making direct head contact to the head. However, there is a change in direction, so you're going from a red to a yellow card.
Yeah, but
Right.
it's chest to chest.
No, head contact.
Okay, thank you, Ref.
Well, the yellow card is shown. Filippo Lavarenti will spend 10 minutes on the naughty step, which will see out the end of his campaign.
I think he might
Give
actually
him time to set.
think he's a little bit lucky there. Head on head. I'm not convinced there was the significant change in direction. And actually, does that mitigate it to a level whereby Lavarenti can get away with the fact that his body height was still very high? It's head on head. There is a high element of danger. Ben Afshar did change direction, but I'm not sure it was so close to the tackle that Lavarenti couldn't have dropped his body height. As it is, it won't make much difference to the outcome of this game, nor Lavarenti. He's not going to come back on whether it was yellow or red, but the optics of it are slightly different. But Scotland gives them a chance to have that one extra man and at least finish with a bang in this championship.
That's ones backwards.
Scotland with the player advantage would love a second score.
Off the boot.
That Dan King try feels an awfully long time ago. 9 minutes left to play. 23 points the gap, perhaps insurmountable, but there's a lot of pride to be put back in those jerseys. They'd love to sign off that campaign by giving Scotland something to cheer about. As Rory said, the improvement from last week is so clear. And that was some hit from Mattioli, but Eletri was deemed offside, so Scotland have a penalty. They'll go quickly here, surely.
Offside.
Well, I think they're going to end up going for the corner. The Scottish maul has been one of their strong suits throughout the championship. And given their one-man advantage as well now, the Italian pack down 2-7. It's not an easy kick, though. With this, into this win, Dan King, he's done not too badly. You know, they've got a line out now 12 metres out. He would have liked it further into that 22, but they do have that extra man. Can they build the fort and stick it on wheels and get it over this line?
More. Inside
Hart
5.
receives that one, and down the blind side Scotland go. They opt not to stick it up the jumper, but to run it. And somehow, they've just about kept hold of it. Here is McLeod. Scored a pearler against England in the opening round. Munn on a direct line, frees a hand, picks out McLeod again. Inches out, Scotland searching for a second that would mean the world.
Number 23.
But again, it's
Also,
Lorenzo
clearly
Eletri.
playing the ball. It is cynical.
And Italy are down to 13 for the remainder of this one. And 2,000 Scots have just sat forward in their seats here.
We're just waiting for him.
And they're thinking, 7.5 minutes, 4 tries, can we do it? Lorenzo Allegri, the bait was just dangled out in front of him and he couldn't help but have a nibble at it. Made the tackle, played the ball, cynical.
They go quickly, Corey Tate finds McConnell. The whirling dervish of a captain. Down the short side they go, King, hunting for a second. Clare, replacement scrum half, picks out the man. They take the direct route, Route 101. McConnell again. Italy, shorn of 2 players, and there's the overlap. There's space there if they can just use it. Will Robinson is over. And after the toughest of weeks, Scotland have found something within themselves and bounced back. They have been so much better this afternoon. And they have got something to smile about now.
And a broad white smile with that gum shield from Will Robinson. Here's the yellow card. This is what it came from. Allegri just couldn't help but have a nibble at that one. Tackled on the ball, stripped it out. Richie Simpson looking to go quickly with the conversion, really tricky into that breeze. Oh, magnificent nudge.
Wow.
The Scottish crowd starting to believe there's something of a chance. The Azzurrini in no hurry to get themselves back. Here's the end. Will Robinson in the corner. Look at this for a nudge. Into the breeze. Has it got enough? Has it got enough? Yes, it does. And now the crowd making themselves heard, knowing that the Italians down to 13 men for the next 6 minutes.
And Rory, the gap is 16. The magic number, remember, for Italy, if they're to put all the pressure on England later on, is 15. What a finish we have in store.
Touched.
Oh, the bounce of a rugby ball. It's one of those whereby hearts in the mouths of the Italians. Dan King kicks this and just thinks, get us downfield, find some field position and see what Italy can do. It gets partly charged down and Will Robinson doesn't have to change his stride at all. I tell you what, there've been a lot of tired bodies out there. The bounce of the ball, May realises he can't get to it ahead of Robinson. Robinson just couldn't regather the ball though. It did go forward. Another player down with cramp.
Whilst we're getting tied up in table permutations, it's also worth mentioning that Scotland are a try away
just over 5.
From a bonus point.
Yeah.
Tell a lie, they're not. They're 2 away from a bonus point. They would love that breathing room over Wales at the bottom of the table.
Yeah, they certainly would. And you know, you're only able to control what's happening in this game. And for Italy, they don't know if England will win the game, will lose the game, to what extent they may lose the game. So actually, when that comes to that points difference, Italy want to do what they can and score as many and concede as few as they can to be able to position themselves to get above England in the table. For now, though, they've got to just work out how they're going to navigate through with 13 men. They now only have 4 backs outside of the scrum half, putting the ball into the scrum. But my goodness, they know the importance. It doesn't matter how many players they have on the outside when your scrum is as it's been all day, buying penalties all over the place, and it's another one for the men in blue.
Well, Rory, the result is suddenly looking a little bit more in jeopardy than we thought it might be, but I'm going to ask you for your player of the match, the final one you have to call in this championship. Who's it going to be?
Well, I think Italy, particularly based on their second half performance, have been the dominant side. It's shown on that scoreboard, but that man in picture, Francois Carlo May, just trumps the number 3 Marcos Francisco Gallerini to the player of the match this afternoon. He has been absolutely magnificent. When you consider 9 carries, 185 metres, He's been the main pressure release in the first half, playing into the wind with his howitzer of a left boot. And he is the Six Nations player of the match for today's game. Francois Carlo May, what a future that young man has in the blue of Italy.
Forward. We will give you the numbers. Numbers? 6.
Scotland have another chance to narrow the deficit. There's 3 minutes left in their campaign. 3 minutes left in the game. David Odiasi looks like he's going to play every single one of the 400 minutes available in this championship. The open side has such an engine on him. Duncan Munn, another one who's played almost every second for his country. And a scampering run from Corey Tate. Replacement hooker who managed that sole score against Ireland last week.
Ripped forward by Blue.
Another one to have an impressive campaign. What has been a best campaign for some time for Scotland. They've had the wooden spoon since before COVID. It would mean so much for them to shift it. But for now, the moment is all about the Italians. So let's just take a look back at the sizable highlights reel from this afternoon of Francois Carlo May.
This is the dazzling footwork we saw within the first few minutes, and then just the quality here with ball in 2 hands, transfer, right arm, left arm. This one just little pop pass like a basketballer. We've not seen any of his kicking within that, but it's mainly because he kicks the ball so far that one camera can't pick it up. You need the high shot to be able to pick up the distance that he covers, but both sides of the ball he's been excellent. The backfield coverage, particularly first half, whereby Italy were having to cover so much of the backfield with playing into the wind, but there were so few occasions whereby Scotland actually managed to hit this artificial grass. He covered every blade in the backfield. With ball, he's shown an awful lot of class, and he glides when he's got ball in hand, isn't he?
That is a compliment I haven't heard before. A player so good with such a boot on him that you need a drone to cover him adequately.
Crouch! Point!
2 minutes remain. It's Charlie Clare of Harlequins who will pop it in. And as has been the story all afternoon, Italy gives Scotland plenty to think about, but offsets the scrum half. Brilliantly gathered by his opposite number, Lorenzo Casilio. Giving Scotland nightmares in the backfield. They might just have kept hold of it, but Italy have the penalty. It's drop your popcorn stuff here at Scotstoun. And Casilio receiving all the plaudits there.
Oh, Charlie Clare just exposing Italy's 13 men down a blindside that was massively under-resourced by Italy, but that man in picture, Lorenzo Casilio, managing to get back and intercept. Charlie Simpson just couldn't, Richie Simpson, I beg your pardon, just couldn't get his hands on it. And now Italy look to finish with a bang.
Italy to have the last word in this last match. An exclamation point at the end of this hard-fought 80 minutes. It's Passarella. The feet of a ballerina, the shoulders of a wrestler, but he's held up. A fitting reminder of just how much
Number 6.
grist Scotland have put to the mill.
6 changing by side entry.
And it was Harris McLeod conceding the penalty there and giving Italy the chance to go one more time, down to 13, but hunting for a 6th try. And they're going to take the scrum. Who can blame them? They're after a 7th penalty in this area.
Crouch!
They've 4 in the backfield. Casilio, the orchestrator of this field position with the put-in. And 8 Italian behemoths flexing their muscles. You can hear the heavy breathing over Morne Ferreira's ref mic.
Last scrum. Let's set stability.
It's been non-stop, this one.
Here we go. Here we go, bro.
Stepping back, sir.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
The ball is in, and again, it's Italian dominance at scrum time. Odiase in playing number 8. They have their 7th penalty.
Not pushing straight.
Odiase asking if the referee will consider going to his pocket. May will drop it to his laces, dink it into the corner.
Not pushing straight.
Numbers!
Time off, yeah.
Filippo Lavorenti
Back on. Yellow card back.
is back on after his yellow card. We're such a long way into overtime that he has managed to re-emerge,
Over.
to roll up his sizable sleeves and help Italy in their search for a 6th score of the afternoon. Cries of Italia ring out around Scotstoun. They're a metre out.
Large feet.
Just looking to emphasise their dominance here. Inches away, Scotland going to the well, defending as though their lives depend upon it, but there it is. A 6th score for an Italian outfit who have been oh so impressive in this second half, and it's Nicolas Gasparini, the Stade Francais hooker, who gets himself over for his 2nd of the competition. The conversion is still to come, but that will do it.
Try scorer for the Italians, number 16, Nicolas Gasparini.
They trailed at the break, but they got ahead early doors in this second passage of play and haven't looked back once. Celebrations on the pitch, and just before our commentary position, big celebrations on the sideline. Giovanni Sante, who came through the Mogliano pathway alongside Paolo Garbisi. Makes it a 7-pointer, a fitting end to an imperious performance from the Azzurrini in this second half. They've done all they can. They've piled the pressure on England and might well end today with their best ever finish in the Six Nations. But even if that doesn't come off, it's been a solid campaign. A victory in round 4, another one with a bonus point in round 5. 6 tries and performances across their match day 23. But a word for Scotland too. Put to the sword last week by an all-conquering Ireland machine. 82 points to 7. What a bounce back from Kenny Murray's young side. And they are a young side. Plenty of 18-year-olds in this outfit. Next season they will look to go better yet again. A really impressive response, giving Scotstoun plenty to smile about this afternoon.
Carlo May, and he's receiving his medal from Scottish.
So these two sides have finished off their 2023 Six Nations, and this is how the standings look. Scotland in 5th, their best finish in years. Italy, for now, a whisker ahead of the Red Rose, who are up next, kick-off at 5 p.m. at Musgrave Park in Cork. They'll have their work cut out. Ireland have been magnificent. And a man at the heart of that Italian performance, Francois Carlo May. What an afternoon he had in that blue shirt. He's pitch side and speaking to Rory Lawson.
Francisco, there was an outpouring of emotion from the bench and on field at the end of that game. Give us an insight into your emotions you felt in the final whistle.
Yeah, a lot of emotions. It was a tough match in the first half. We managed to be better in the second half, and we managed to get a nice win with a nice try at the end from the forwards. And they're the group that kept us in the game, and we at the backs, we just tried to finish what they did.
At half-time, you're 10-5 down. You finished the game 40 points to 17. What changed?
Just the mentality. Yeah, because we knew the first half is going to be tough. They're going to bring everything to us. But then second half, between the first half and second half, we talked, and we knew we need to switch, and we switched on, and then from there was a nice match for us.
We spoke in commentary a little bit about the wind. How significant was the wind? You played into it in the first half, and you were having to take a lot of inbound ammunition from the Scottish kickers.
Yeah, first half was tough. We knew first half with the wind against us it's going to be tough, but then the second half we knew it was going to be a bit of an advantage for us, and we tried to use it as much as possible with our kicks, and then we counter-attack with the kick us back the ball.
And you've done the job now. You have the 5 points. You're currently sitting in third place. You can go and enjoy watching the other 2 games this afternoon.
Yeah, we knew we needed to 5 points with a nice bonus point and a nice difference between us in points with England. And we need to now wait and see what England-Ireland does for our final result in the Six Nations. Yeah.
And just finally, on your personal performance, you were today's player of the match. How happy are you with your
really nice achievement. It's a really nice achievement to sum up the Six Nations, and I can try and be better every time, but this is a nice step for me.
Well, go and enjoy the after-match celebrations with the rest of your teammates. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Can I get a picture with the medal? Can you hold the medal? There you go, good man. There you go.
Giovanni, as the celebrations continue behind you, how happy are you with the performance this afternoon?
We are very happy. We had a difficult start, a difficult first half. We've done a bit too many errors, but we recovered from them, and we've done a great second half. So I'm very happy. I think we are. All of us are very happy with the results, with what we have shown today. We've shown a lot of heart, a lot of passion, and yes, absolutely very happy.
It was the second win of the championship, and I sense from the celebrations that there's frustration that has been able to you've been able to take out in the performance this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't always easy this month, so when you win it's always beautiful. But after this sort of week, like the first 3 weeks, that wasn't easy, that weren't easy. Like this is what we were waiting for. So we are very happy.
And from your point of view, as the centrepiece of that forward pack and the captain of the team, how good is it to be in a forward pack of that dominance? Because today the scrum in particular was very impressive.
It's beautiful. It's amazing. you just stay there and you work all together. It's just how it's supposed to be. So it's beautiful. It's rugby. It's beautiful.
Well, these are important moments. So I'll let you go away and enjoy the celebrations with your team. Congratulations and safe travels home. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thanks.
Liam, thanks for joining us so soon after the final whistle. Give us an overview of your immediate thoughts after that match.
I felt we were good in parts, but like it's tough when you can't get hold of the scrum. Like they were just winning penalty after penalty and just getting down the field, and we couldn't really stop it.
You had the wind at your backs during that first half period, and a lot of pressure inside and territory inside the Italian half. Looking back and reflecting, and I know we're immediately after the game, but how many missed opportunities were there, and how crucial did they end up panning out as the game went on?
Yeah, we started really well, and we were getting down there a lot. I think at half-time our coach said we were in there 5 times and obviously scored once, so I need to convert a little bit more. Like that's been a bit of a theme all tournament. Like we get quite a few entries, but our conversion rate's not as good.
With regards to where this squad are, picked up a win for the first time in a couple of years in the Six Nations. There's clearly progress. So, where are the areas that you're going to look at and learn from moving forward into the coming weeks and the trophy later on in the season?
Probably scrum, definitely. Kind of struggled all tournament there. So scrum, and then I don't know. I'll just have to have a look at it, but definitely scrum.
With regards to the scrum, it was obviously a key area today, as it always is. What was the on-field chat as to how you can overcome some of the challenges in it? Because it seemed like Italy had the dominance all afternoon.
Yeah, like sometimes we're bad for sort of the back 5, releasing the pressure too early. So it was just trying to get all 8 of us just scrumming it until the ball's out, and we did try, but it was just a lot of weight coming through.
Liam, you and the boys have given that Scottish jersey a lot of credit throughout this championship, so you should be very proud of all of your efforts. How proud are you of your teammates?
Yeah, really proud. I think we've come a long way from the past couple of years, but yeah, definitely not the finished article. We've got a lot to work on, but we came a long way.
Well, enjoy being together. You learn as much from your losses as you do your wins, and you've kept on fronting up. Thanks for your time.
Grazie ragazzi per la vostra disponibilità, grazie allo staff che ha fatto un grandissimo lavoro e stasera
Roberto, a comprehensive 5-point away win on the road here at Scotstoun this afternoon. How happy are you as a coach of the Azzarini?
Of course, we are happy about the result. We didn't expect to win by 40 today. We knew it would be tough, as it has been in the first half. It's been really tough game. We didn't play the best rugby in the first half. We were a bit concerned about that, but after all, the boys came up in the second half with a different attitude. Used the wind in our favour in the second half, and yeah, we did a lot better.
Well, it certainly was a game of two halves, and in the commentary box we were talking about, you know, what the coach's words might be at halftime to be able to rally the troops. What were the words from the coaches at halftime?
I think that the boys are just a bit tight. They were feeling a lot of this game. They knew the importance of the game, the last game, or the Six Nations for most of these boys. So they were a bit contracted. I think we just tried to take it easy, just relax them, go through the process, and yeah, they respect the game plan. We get them in the second half, play a bit more territory, try to keep the dominance with the forwards as we been in the first half, and yeah, just use all the opportunities that will come on the game. And the boys did really well, improved a lot on the defence side. They started going up on defence, putting pressure on the Scottish team, and he paid back.
What pleased you most in that response? Because you've now gone back-to-back victories. You finish the championship with those 2 wins. What pleased you most over the past couple of weeks?
I think the feeling we have inside the team. I mean, we're creating a good environment. We just the boys are happy to stay together. They've been working hard to create this team, just to these belongings. So that's truly the most appreciated part from one side, but also, yeah, the results always helped in that process. I think winning back-to-back is a good goal for this team, and especially 15 points on the board, and considering the fact that we've been competitive in all the games we've been playing so far, scoring bonus points against everyone. Going through all the tournament, we just lost by 1 at home against France in the first game, and we could have had the chance to win that game. We've been competitive in every game. We took the win we should have took on the field. So after all, if we pull a line after the Six Nations tournament, we just it surely is a positive one.
And now you can sit and you can watch Ireland host England in Cork with the opportunity of them becoming Grand Slam champions, but also if they starve England of a point, Italy finish third in the table. How much progress would that show for this young group?
I mean, that will help a lot. Being third for the first time, it would be like a record to beat. Already done the record, scoring 15 points on the board. It's never happened in our under-20s. So, yeah, that's the first one. If that would happen, it would be amazing for us. We spend a good night together, enjoying the win and enjoying also something that has never happened in our rugby. So we look forward to watch a game.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.